So let's go here with Druzhina versus Champagne. That is my last cast of this session and first and top division of League of Empires. So Nomad is usually a rather slow start. They're flaring. They're starting TCs here in Ant-Man and Air 12 rather close here. Nomad very slow development, so this is gonna take a little while to get into, but we could talk about the players and teams they've chosen meanwhile. So Nomad map pretty standard, huge pond-ish in the middle here though, but with passable terrain, so the water fighting might be a bit awkward here actually, depending on how the players choose to solve it. But let's talk about the civs and players here first. For Druzhina, we have a team of players, generally speaking, in the established in the 1700 plus 1v1 range. I know these players through their Discord and our friendly team games from time to time. Air 12 with the Lithuanians. It's a great civilization for hybrid maps like these, or Nomad Stars as well, because you start with 150 extra food, as we'll show here. Means you could go straight to focus on wood once your TC is up. It's not quite yet, but once it's up, you could go straight to wood, and you'll be able to drop the dock rather, or start production from your dock rather early on, which AR12 already has built it, of course. The Nomad meta is to drop your dock and TC ASAP and get to the production. But look at Champagne here, though. I could introduce them and their civs as well. Then Gunji with the Vietnamese. Pretty common pick for Nomad simply because once the players have built their town centers, Vietnamese civilization bonus allows them to see where the enemy town centers are. So that's good for strategical purposes. In the middle here we have Zara with the Persians. Very solid Nomad civ with their extra starting food and wood, 250 total of both. So you could essentially start fishing immediately after building the dock and the house. And we'll look through goal with Lithuanians as well, as mentioned already. Hey, Norther! Will you cast King of the North? Ah, it's been a while since I casted some of that. I will look into it. But it seems like Nicolas Cage of Empires and Moses have it covered though. I'm running my own tournament these days, so I'm going to start casting that as well. But I've enjoyed casting KOTN as well for sure. It's been a great one. So feel free to send me a tip of any good gains that deserve some attention. I'd be happy to. I'll be on the lookout as well if I have some time. I would. And finally, the last civ I didn't mention is the Burmese. Not the most obvious Nomad civ pick, but if you can get, there's lots of stone everywhere, as you can see, stones and gold on Nomad in abundance, really, meaning that you'd have an easier time to get to the castles as Burmese and get to the arm by, which can be just so powerful. But now we need to talk about the positions here. Look at Champagne's starting positions here. They're literally giving up the whole map control to Druzhina from the very beginning here. They have their docks rather close here, so that's something. But I don't like this, honestly. If Druzhina somehow recognized that this is the location of all 3 TCs of Champagne, all you need to do is wall off this section, and they can't expand. They'll be stuck on their own little corner here with 1 gold and 2 stones, and goodbye Champagne. So I'm not confident in Champagne with this starting position, but eventually they will expand, obviously. We are now at 16, 17, 18 pop. So it seems like Champagne, after all, are off to a better start here with 18 population collectively. They do have that villager lead, don't they? 4 villagers lead, so that's something. But otherwise, I still favor Druzhina's position more. They are a bit cramped up here, AR12 and Ant-Man as well, but it could be a tactical advantage to be this close as well. And with Adal over here, he basically has all the control of the right-hand side here. Nomad games can drag out, of course, but given the positions here, if Druzhina gets their scouting down early enough, they should be able to restrict a lot of the map from Champagne here. Slow Nomad starts indeed. Druzhina are catching up as well, partly because Champagne are going to the village. That's going to give them the edge on the water fighting. Maps involving water, uptimes, and water control is essential to keep your fish income going. And but on the other hand, Druzhina are setting up, or they have so much of the map for themselves. They could Adal, especially with his location, you could comfortably go for a straight fast castle age and simply then go into boom straight away with the Persians, and he'll be having such a strong advantage in the long run. There's so little space for Champagne down here. They have to expand. They are doing so already, but as far as Nomad starts go, this is I'm really not favoring Champagne for this one, even if their skill sets are around Druzhina's level. That remains to be seen as well. Village is in, Wilder Thurgo is in the 1600s, if I remember correctly. He might have climbed more recently as well. Is dropping his second dock to the northeast here now. So free fish boom here for him, but on the other hand, oh, third dock actually. But then again, they're going to have to travel rather far to contest AR-12 and AR-12's and now Adal's fish here specifically. What's the Ant-Man up to? Did the Ant-Man even dock? His dock pretty close to the blue players here. And these TC spots, this one especially, is right on the edge of the water. You'd never want that. If Ant-Man is able to get to the castle age quicker, you know, he can even go into war galleys and he can take out this TC and idle the whole eco only with water presence. And he's Burmese though, so we shouldn't expect Ant-Man to commit way too heavily to water here. But now, looking at the ecosystems, Adal just going to go straight for the castle age here, I think, with his current setup. And yeah, here's the blacksmith market. AR-12 likely going to fight for the water because he is a very solid water player. And then Ant-Man presumably going for some semi-fast castle approach as well. Maybe even double castle Iron by here because he's committing very heavily to stone already in the Dark Age here, or he's in the feudal actually. No, he's researching feudal now, so he's definitely committing to the later castle age, stronger pop, multiple castles Iron by here. AR-12 with the water fighting here is going to contest the fire ships of the Ganji here. Can we see the ship stats somewhere, maybe? Oh, it's up here, obviously. So, AR-12 with only 5 seconds of idle TC time on Nomad. That's honestly rather impressive, because you would tend to struggle a bit for food on Nomad. Brings the weakened fire ships away, keeps the enemy fire ships focused on efficient ships, so that's a necessary loss to be taken. But meanwhile, stacking up on war galleys here, and will go for some repairs here, and might get some help from Adal once he's able to reach the castle age here. Adal is likely to go into multiple TCs or multiple docks though to extend that land presence and get that eco rolling. And with the Ant-Man on the way to the castle age and his stone investment, he is already right around the corner of being able to afford one castle. And with his stone commitment, he might very well be able to drop 2 as well. Triple docks for AR-12, very close to each other here, so that means that the reinforcements are close. He is being outnumbered for the time being. It's almost only Air 12 on water, but we see Adal now queuing fire galleys as well. He will be having fire ships way before Champagne here, because Champagne, they only have Miller through go on the way up, and he's not really investing that much into water either. He's probably going more for the land play here with the Lithuanians, I'd assume. So look at the resources here. We have Gunji and Zara. They're miles away from Castle Age yet, whereas Druzhina will have at least 2 players with only Air 12 committing to Fuel Age for a while longer here. Demolition ships sent towards the dock here, but look at Air 12 with the fire ships out now, with some sneaky micro here to split up onto the green ships here, and Air 12 is back at it. He has 6 fire galleys, will potentially be joined by Adal here later as well, I think. And this is where I saw Adal crew fire galley. And a well-placed demo here to weaken 2 of the fire galleys as well. Just like that, Air 12, the only player water for Druzhina, is winning back water control here with his extended feudal, while Ant-Man will be dropping his first castle, securing his gold. And another GC to extend the boom. Ant-Man is a very solid boomer as well. He is, I believe, in the 1800s these days, obviously a very solid 1v1 player. And we have Adal here playing peacefully as Persians on the other side. Not really contesting water up here, but going into the stable now, going to provide some knights on land, maybe camels against the early Lithuanians knights as well. I might sound biased here, but if you look at the general development here, Air 12, yes, the extended feudal age, but with a very flawless eco running behind all of this, and yeah, doing his part to keep the naval area safe from the enemies, and allowing his teammates to boom away and get going. Just look at the expansion here. We'll be seeing a lot more purple and yellow over here as long as Champagne are committing so heavily to winning water. There's not really, I mean, there's a lot of fish to benefit from on Nomad, but it's most important in the very early stages in Dark Age and Middle Age to get your food economy rolling and to set up for the nice late game eco. Right now, Air 12 may be losing water again, but at this stage, it might not be as big of a deal, because his naval investment has bought Adal and Ant-Man time to stabilize the land, to make use of the fish, to boost their food economy while going up to the Castle Age, and then to facilitate knight production. Note that Gunji is in the Castle Age, but doesn't have a single knight on the field, even going into an archer here for some reason. What's the idea behind that? Adal here with the knights forward. They must know by now that that all 3 TCs of Champagne are down here. They actually can't see the blue one, but that's right next to the shoreline, so I'm surprised that Ant-Man surely sees that one. Maybe not. Yeah, they know about that one. Champagne are expanding as well, though. We have a triple range approach from Gunji here with the Vietnamese. That's going to be great against Ant-Man's Iron Buy, provided that their production doesn't get obstructed. But with the help from Adal's Persian knights here, it should be an easy task for Druzhina to clean up these small masses of Vietnamese crossbows. Control extending here, Ant-Man going to the 3 TC boom now. Air 12 is about to reach the Castle Age as well. It's a very prolonged feudal for Lithuanians here, but still his naval investment has paid off for the rest of his team, although it's not looking too great for the water situation right now. Adal could lose some fish here, but in the meanwhile he's extending into more TCs on land, 3rd TC for the Persians here, and I think I saw him dropping a dock somewhere else as well. efforts for Airtel as well. Still going to commit to the water play. I think he's hunted down some of the fishing ships of Ganji, so some great work there to keep the fish eco obstructed from Champagne here. Champagne are expanding, as said. They have more TCs, more eco rolling now, but still looking at the north side here, it's going to be tough for them to reclaim that. We have some expansion to the right-hand side though. Zara with another TC on the woodline and a gold here. Stable from Ant-Man on this side though, and the barracks, so it's not going to be easy for Zara to extend their economy on the right-hand side here. Will Turgo, this must have been the docking villager dropping a TC up here, so the collected TC count is the same for Druzhina and Champagne here now, but overall economy I'd suspect is stronger for Druzhina. 172 to 160 slight military lead for Champagne here, but if Druzhina play their cards right and consistently annoy the main economic area of Champagne here, should still be a very good spot for them. Arambai are rather weak to arrow fire. We see that when they pass next to the TCs as well. Ant-Man did go into the defense as needed. That's also the only one that Burmese get for their ranged units. Arambai, however, high the attack output. So look at 17 damage here, and in the Imperial Age, should you get there, you could research a technology that gives cavalry and cavalry units extra damage against buildings as well. Just plain annoyance here. AR-12 looping around to scout where the rest of the docks of Champagne are. There's quite a bit of army presence on water still for Champagne with 5 plus 5, 10 fire ships. No, 5 fire ships, 5 fire galleys. AR-12 only with 2 fire galleys. But look at the army investment on land for Druzhina now. 15 Arabai and 12 knights. Forward castles that's alright. Forward castle by the Ant-Man and defensive castle by Villager Go here. I think it should be within range with the appropriate upgrades in, and this castle is denied anyway, so it's not going to be easy for Genji to get that one up. This castle is fantastic from the Ant-Man as well, denying both a gold and a stone here and allowing him to maybe take even more stone over here. So Champagne, they are trying to expand here, but their starting position is just horrible with all 3 TCs in the same place here. Had they been in the middle of the map, it would be a different story. They could share the resources and explore to or expand to different sides, but that's not an option the way it looks now. And with a pretty darn good DKD here, 40 to 17, 50 to 26 for adults, so some good team coordination here between the players. Looking a bit more grim for Champagne on the side here, especially for Gunji with 24 to 65, never being allowed to get these Vietnamese crossbows to crucial numbers. Keep in mind that Persian knights have a bonus attack against archers as well. I think it's a +2 attack, so that's that gives them an easier job to clean up enemy archers. And that's it. Champagne with their starting spot doesn't quite work out for them. They tried for a bit of expansion to the right, but Ant-Man is on the alert here, so that tells about some good scouting along the way as well, or maybe some lucky coincidence to have the stables and production on that side. I believe that has to be scouting from Ada or Ant-Man's part, though, to see that this would be a logical place for Champagne to expand. So if you want to go for Nomad start, try to avoid starting right next to each other like this. Of course, you want to be next to a woodline and some core resources, but making Lombardia out of Nomad generally not a good idea overall. Let's quit Capture H and go to the stats for this one and see what that looks like. So, although with a solid military score here, did get decent army numbers up for knights to provide at just the right moment here. Ganji with the largest army, but was still being pushed back all the time by the collected military numbers of Adal and the Advent. Good coordination there, I'd say, to not allow Ganji's crossbows to take out Burmese army needlessly. Good naval efforts from Champagne, though. They did fight for water and win it back, but I think they also overcommitted in the feudal age to the numbers of water, resulting in slower cast ages and falling behind in the military production on land. But it all comes down to their starting position, though, with all three deities giving up 90% of the map to Druzhina. And with regard to that, Champagne obviously were actually very much dependent upon holding water control for themselves. Adal with the straight fast castle, very solid fast castle for Nomad here with 1648. Bear in mind that you need to build a TC first and then gather enough resources to go up. Fish eco helps quite a bit, but there's also an investment on wood that affects the buildings and houses needed to sustain population and go through to the next age.